I'm pleased now to introduce the individual delivering our main commencement address today. Tom Barkin is the President and CEO of the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond. He oversees monetary policy, bank supervision, and cash operations for the Fed's 5th District, which includes Virginia, the Carolinas, Maryland, West Virginia, and Washington, D.C. Tom is brilliant and passionate about engaging with business, civic, and community leaders to bring attention to economic challenges and share his perspective on the economy. His work directly impacts the economic health of our region and the economic lives of all who live here. He earned his undergraduate, MBA, and law degrees from Harvard. Many of you have heard about how the Fed sets interest rates, raises or lowers interest rates. This guy has a key voice among the handful of people in our nation who make that decision when that is happening. Thank you so much for joining us today, Tom. We look forward to your remarks. Please join me in welcoming Tom Barkin.
Thanks, Kevin. I'm honored to be part of this event. Let me first start by thanking the class of 2025 for inviting me to speak today. You had absolutely no say in it, I'm sure, but I'm grateful nonetheless. Before I start, I'm required to caution that even though I'm actually not planning to say anything interesting at all about interest rates, that all of the things I'm going to talk about today, my life lessons, are mine and not those of anyone else in the Federal Reserve System. Next, while this isn't technically required, I can't go any further without saying a happy Mother's Day to my mom, my wife Robin, and all the other moms in the audience. This is a happy Mother's Day indeed. So the Federal Reserve, as you probably know, employs a lot of brilliant economists. And they've pointed me to a critical point that I wanted to share with you today. By graduating from college, you've done one of the things most correlated with future success. On average, college graduates earn more money, live longer lives, have better health, have greater wealth, have jobs more resilient to downturns, and surveys suggest get more matches on dating apps. So this is a big day. Well done, class of 2025. I hope you're proud. Congratulations also to the parents and grandparents, brothers and sisters, professors, instructors, mentors, and friends who are here. You are all part of this journey, and you share in this moment of celebration. One personal note for the graduates. I'd encourage each and every one of you to take a second and just ask your family how they experienced today. My daughter's graduation was 3 years ago. I stood in line at 6 a.m. to get a good seat. I didn't get one. At the ceremony, we squinted from a distance and barely saw her. She had a great time, like I did at my own graduation, but it made me realize I had no understanding of what experience my dad, who's now passed, had at my own graduation, and I wish I knew. Today is all about you, of course, but take a second and remember it's also about them. Now, while this may not shock you as much as it shocks me, I graduated college 42 years ago in 1983. We were a mere 6 months past the end of what was at the time the deepest recession since the Great Depression. I still have a very clear memory of the wall of our dorm, covered with all the rejection letters that our rooming group had received. I recognize no one sends letters anymore. This may sound familiar to some of you who are experiencing radio silence in your inbox. You're graduating into a challenging labor market, which I imagine is particularly frustrating because no one's talking about it. That's because we're not seeing a lot of layoffs, and thus if you have a job, the labor market is good. But if you're looking for work, it feels like a different economy. Hiring is and has been quite low on a historical basis. But I come with good news. My roommates and I have come a long way from our wall of rejection letters. I've had the chance to watch them, along with countless friends, successfully manage the ups and downs of life after college. So I thought today I would focus on the ups and add a few more themes to Kevin's great advice. I hope these 6 ups may be of some small value to those of you who aren't on your phones. The first up is to show up, and I mean physically. While it went out of style in recent years, the workplace is making a comeback. And it makes sense. In-person work has a lot to offer. You pick up on company culture. You better understand who succeeds and why. You collaborate with and learn from colleagues. You discover who you want to work with, who you want to avoid, and where the next great professional opportunity might be. Unlike what you see in Severance, what you gain at the office can enrich your personal life as well. You make friends. You find mentors and role models. You might even meet your soulmate. Imagine if everyone in the office had worked from home. Think of all the plot lines we would have missed. How would Jim have met Pam? Remote work has its place. I'm not saying you've got to be in the office every day to succeed, but I do think showing up, watching others, and being visible yourself, especially in the early years of your career, is crucial. Plus, if a job can be done without you there, your boss might start wondering why it can't be done by, say, a bot. Which brings me to my second point, which is keep up. Now, I'm mostly teasing about the bot, but I do know many of you are worried about what technology or developments in the public sector might mean for your career. And I get it, the world is changing fast. To age myself once more, when I graduated, there was no personal computer or internet, no smartphone, no streaming, no Google, no PlayStation. You get the picture, and yes, 40 years ago sounds pretty boring, I know. The worker I was prepared to be in 1983 became obsolete soon thereafter. I had to learn, adapt, and keep up, and so will you. Your world looks set to move even faster than mine did, so you'll need to continuously invest in yourself to stay current. Read, ask questions, get involved in something outside of the workplace that gives you some new perspectives. Today's a big milestone, no doubt, but your educational journey is not yet complete. Third, look up. Find someone who's had a life you admire and figure out what they did to get there. Find your Yoda or your Dumbledore. If it's your boss you admire, watch them, learn from them. Understand what he or she does, how they make decisions, and what makes them good at their job. It'll prepare you to step in once it's your turn. How do you ensure your turn comes? Ask for feedback, be receptive to it, and actually use it to make yourself better. When you succeed, ask why. When you fail, ask why. And importantly, step up when you get a chance. Fourth, free up. And here I'm talking about time, because if there's one cliche lesson that rings true as you age, it's that there's simply just not enough of it. Know your passions. Protect them. For me, that means reading and sports and family and lifelong friends. For you, it might be working out. That's obviously not a priority for me. On the margin, doing what energizes me sometimes requires a little less sleep or an extra flight or some courage to draw boundaries or move work to the less costly parts of the week. It means deprioritizing low-value tasks. Yes, I'm talking about you, TikTok. That was actually supposed to be funny, but I guess not. Not for this group, but I study personal productivity, and I'm constantly seeking to learn how I can get more done in less time. It isn't easy to balance the personal and professional, but you can do hard things. You've got a degree. Fifth is save up. Pay down debt and be cautious about taking out any more. Spend less than you make. Save money, invest smartly. Now, these aren't about how to become rich, though they won't hurt, but they're about how to create personal freedom, to have what you need to support yourself and in time your family in times of crisis, and keep a healthy attitude toward work. Money in reserve gives you resilience in downturns and the ability to walk away when you need to. I always found that freedom gave me confidence and allowed me to make better decisions. And finally, keep your head up. Life is long, and as I said at the beginning, has both ups and downs. As the great Dory once said, just keep swimming. Do more things that energize you and fewer that don't. Be with people who give you positive energy and avoid those who bring you down. Nurture the great friendships you made in college. They can be yours for a lifetime. Tackle barriers and problems with commitment and diligence, but don't try to solve problems you don't yet have. The ones you have will keep you busy enough. There's a whole literature I like about the personal behaviors of lucky people. which I would summarize as they make their own luck. They have the resilience to turn lemons into lemonade. They turn problems into opportunities. As another great one once said, they know how to shake it off. I was tempted to close with just one more up. Wake up to those of you who may be drifting off to sleep. I remember my commencement, at least I remember that I didn't get much sleep the night before. We were packing, telling stories, and just having fun together while we could, and I hope that's what you did too. And if that means you didn't quite focus on what I just said, that's okay. Here's the TLDR, and for the parents here, I'm told that means too long, didn't read. I learned that actually just in writing this speech. Show up, keep up, look up, free up, save up, and keep your head up. Hopefully you remember that more than I remember what my commencement speaker said. To close, I'll just say this: bottoms up. Cheers to you and your families.
All right. Thank you, Tom. That was great. Ready? I am not